Thank you very much, Joe. I'm sitting in the analyst desk in LA, and I'm happy to support North American teams. Cloud9, once again, playing very, very well. I think I want to talk about KaBuM. Their lane swap, questionable. Jet touched on it. Crepa, I would like you to expand. But I think Dan's was an incredible Thresh. And toe-to-toe, yes, KaBuM had stronger lanes. They bullied Cloud9 around for the first 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 kind of played this with a little disrespect. Early game going double average play when you already have like a triple hyper carry comp into what is arguably like really strong laners. Then they definitely threw KaBuM off guard because when the lane swap happened initially, Lucian immediately pushed in wave 1 into the tower because he was too late to freeze that. But then he pushed a second wave into the tower. He didn't start freezing. Balls came into the lane, got half a wave for free XP. Freeze started stacking up. Balls got way more. And then even in the top lane, the Lulu Thresh combination from KaBuM was actually beating Sneaky and Lemon in lane. So imagine if Minerva would have played that freeze out properly, Balls could have stayed under level, and they could have actually exploited their early game advantage. But even though Cloud9 went sloppy mode and went double average blade, they still won that game. So
I do fear a little bit for Sneaky, honestly. Like, I was hyping him up as a very improved player towards the end of the split, but I know that when I was talking to Cloud9 near playoffs, they said, we lane swap every game because we're not sure of our bottom lane 2v2. They need to kind of step up a little bit. So they lane swap every game. And they've done so 2 times so far, both their games so far at Worlds as well. And in this game, you saw Sneaky go 40 CS down in a matchup where Trist is arguably a 50-50 matchup in Delusion.
What?
So it is. And it's mind-blowing because
he built average plate though.
Yeah, the build was wrong, I agree, but you should not be 40 CS down, especially, no offense to Minerva, but he doesn't have very much competition. Sneaky has so much good AD carry competition in North America, it shouldn't go that way.
I do want to quickly highlight one thing about Dan's in terms of the duo lane and maybe why the Sneaky was suffering in CS. Thresh has been picked 5 out of the 6 games today. 3 out of 3 in Group C, 2 out of 3 in Group D. I looked at the stats. In Group A, he was featured in all 13 games, including the tiebreaker. Banned 4 times, picked 9 times. Group B, only 1 game out of 12. Now, I'm going to theorize the competitiveness of the group could correlate to the number of Thresh picks, but this is something to discuss another time. Freak, let's get back to the game.
Yeah, well, 2 things. So one, actually, I think there's actually a lot of good Brazilian AD carries. BRTT is a lot of guys out there who are actually very incredible. Maybe not as good as you, Deadlift. I know you're pretty much the godsend AD carry, but as far as the rest of it, I know you're referring to yourself as far as competition for Sneaky. But I know, I'm messing with you, but I think there actually are quite a number of good AD carries in Brazil.
Okay.
Second, though, you're implying that TSM is worse than like Dark Passage or something. TSM clearly the best team to ever exist in League of Legends, so I don't know why you're saying B wasn't competitive. But okay, yeah, but you're right. The laning phase was so darn good for KaBuM. Again, Tinones did great. We've now seen Syndra's be more ridiculous, probably. I'm sure you're loving seeing that. The laning phase is good. Cloud9, it's unfortunate for me to say this, but like they still look like the same team that played in North American regionals, where their early game is really weak. They wait for the team fights around, and they play this really, really passive game. And I hate seeing them on champions like Lee Sin that are normally playmakers, but instead he's just there to have a sight stone and wait for 30 minutes. And like you ban the Kazik, which is the ideal jungler for the wait for 30 minutes jungle pattern.
Cloud9 did do one really aggressive play that kind of turned the game in their favor, which is the one clip we do have that I want to kind of run through right now, if you don't mind pulling it up right now. All right,
that works for you and it doesn't work for me.
So magical.
We like it more.
Drops
so nice.
the mic, walks away.
So let's roll this clip right now, and we can see right now, Meteos just pushed Syndra kind of out of lane and kind of scared her. So right now, High is starting to move down, and Cloud9 just saying, get him, get him, get him. We have an advantage right now. So they're trying to get on Jarvan, but Jarvan gets out, and Lemon does a super good bait right now. Gets hooked, and watch for the Monsoon coming out. Monsoon hits right into Yasuo ulti. And this is just perfect. Lemon's just on survival mode right now, and High is just there to clean up. At this point, High is the only one that has kill potential, kind of. And he gets in there, gets his kill, and watch how C9 doesn't back off. They follow High and keep right next to him, because if they had left High, Syndra was going to be able to kill him. So I really like C9 coming together and like kind of protecting their shot caller from getting picked off at the end.
And at the same time, the TP that came in was cancelled on top lane and Balls as well. If you cancel my TP, I'll just take your life and simply kill top lane. That single play just turned like all the advantage that KaBuM had, all those good laning phases, just got punished because you just gave 3 kills around the map against double average plate, triple hyper carry comp.
do want to give some props to KaBuM. I think they have shown up somewhat in their first 2 games. They've got 4 more to step it up. So with 6 games complete here in Singapore, let's actually check out those standings because I've got some more questions for this analyst desk once we get that up on screen. I want to start talking to you guys about the LCS team performances. It has been a great day for North American squads. Not so much for the European teams, both Alliance and Fnatic really looking lost, I think is the best way to say it. Cloud9 coming in here, doing what Cloud9 does. LMQ on the other side have really surprised everybody. A lot of players, actually every single analyst, barring Crumbs, wrote them off against OMG. Crumbs did get it wrong against Fnatic because he did say they were going to win, despite him not being here.
You can't prove that.
Let's talk about the LC. I can actually, because it's written down right here. CZ, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but there's the predictions for absolutely everybody. Right. Now that I've proven it, let's talk about the teams. LMQ surprising us, EU disappointing us. Double lift start there.
I think the biggest surprise for me, Cloud9's high. Winning lane against Froggen. Not what I expected at all. Actually, Monty ranked Froggen as the #1 mid in the group, and I definitely didn't expect High to be able to out-CS him in that matchup. I think it was Xerath versus Syndra. It's just ridiculous. And the biggest surprise, obviously, LMQ, Moore and Xiao showing their super world class. We all wrote them off except for Crumbs. God bless Xiao. I'll never lose faith in you again.
Probably.
Please listen to the Xiao. But yeah, going off of that, yeah, you look at Froggen and Peke, and EU's kind of brought up as their mid laners are amazing. And then look at NA coming in there, though. We're taking the good, best mids back.
Yep.
Well,
Probably,
I can't
are you
disagree.
part of that conversation?
Yeah?
Who are you
I'm a mid in NA.
North American LCS mids are good?
Hey, most of the time.
Too soon.
Most of the time.
Low blow. Crepo.
Yeah, all low blows aside, I just want to point out both your teams seem to have a problem with split push in general. Alliance didn't go far enough in the split push angle. They just sent Wicked back too early. They didn't put any pressure on the side lanes with that kill. There was literally nobody on the enemy team that could stop the kill, yet they just couldn't make that happen. At the same time, Fnatic was having issues with their split push. They weren't sure do we want to protect the AD comp? Is our AD carry split pushing? It's almost as if this wave was stacking up on the side, and they're okay, if we just ignore it long enough, it'll disappear. But eventually they had to send somebody, and then they lost all the vision control in return. So both European teams rather have issues with silent control.
Yeah, same thing even happened last week when we had Candy Panda on Vayne, who was the key win condition, and thankfully for them, TSM screwed up and won the game for SK anyway. But all the European teams have had trouble actually making split pushes work.
Yeah, it's not something that has been super prolific towards the end of the summer split. EU as a region was doing very well earlier in the end last year, but definitely not towards the end. So we talked about the LCS squads. I do want to pick your guys' brains about the Korean teams that we did see, despite it only being, I think, 1 game apiece for Najin, Shield, as well as Samsung Blue. We're going to see them more tomorrow, as well as OMG. OMG didn't really impress me today, maybe quite as much as I was expecting from them. Samsung Blue and Shield, on the other hand, I think living up to the levels. Shield, Blue, do we see any weaknesses? Do we see the LCS teams being able to take games off of them? Double if you're excited.
I just want to say that the LPL teams have really disappointed me. Coming in, a lot of the analyst predictions was China might be the second best region, by a pretty decent margin ahead of NA and EU. But honestly, EDG, Name was a huge disappointment from Group A. And then in Group B, I feel like Starhorn Royal Club and TSM are pretty equal. You saw that the Starhorn Royal Club started slipping, TSM won the game, and if they had won against SK, I really think that TSM would have taken the first seed in Group B. So, and then finally OMG, a really big disappointment. I just am not impressed with LPL teams.
So we do actually have that graphic completed. So let's quickly pull that one up onto your screens and take a look at where these groups are shuffling themselves. Here we go. LMQ surprising everybody, 2-0. Samsung Blue with just that 1 game to their name. OMG, the surprises, 0-2. Group D, it is, of course, Cloud9, 2-0. National White Shield, 1-1. We'll see more of those games tomorrow, but we'll keep this up as Crepo, you're going to share some more thoughts on some of the Asian squads that we're seeing.
Yeah, just in general, I feel I get a trend that Rumble is involved in a lot of these upset matches. Rumble seems to be the new pick that wasn't in the metagame back when all the playoffs were happening, so he's coming up on the scene. Thresh always shows up at these world events because his kid is just so good at doing what he does, the CC and everything. So I'm wondering if the pick and ban patterns are going to change the next few days.
I really think Rumble, yeah, you're right about that. It's these LPL teams are team fight teams. And then Rumble is arguably the best top lane team fighter. I mean, what else do you have? You know, tanky tops like Lulu, Ryze, like those don't compare to Rumble in a big team fight.
Yeah, I agree. And I also kind of want to get back to the point that you were talking about Double Lift with Name, where I remember back in the very, very beginning in the preview show for the very first day, we had an interview with the man, and he said he's comfortable or he's confident because he's played against these AD carries. He understands them, and he's confident because he knows he can beat those guys up. Once we see EDG again, they're going to be against Starhorn Royal Club. He knows Uzi. I think we're going to see him come back to form. Again, this is Name's first international tournament. So he's only going to kind of grow from there. I think we will see specifically EDG get better throughout the tournament. If I think they can win their quarterfinal, I think they can move on and start looking a lot more impressive, and maybe they will make that deep run we expected of them.
They simply cannot afford to get any worse or stay where they are at this point in time. All right, guys, thank you for the thoughts. It is time to stealth through the brush as we prepare to jump into the action with one of my favorite segments. It is one that we call Thank You Very Much. First clip comes from Samsung Blue versus OMG, and this is Spirit grabbing first blood on Going, who is going nowhere.
What was Going thinking here?
Base check very much, yeah.
Oh god, it was he just didn't respect the level 1 Lee Sin Rumble chase down. He's so far away from his
But
tower.
you should notice, even if you've played against a Mundo before, like it's the exact same thing. Once you get hit by a cleaver, like you'll have to burn your flash.
Now, Crepo, I know you like this play. It was Fnatic versus LMQ. And you know what? Fnatic, they saw LMQ and just thought, screw it, let's go ham.
Yeah, I really think they capitalized really well here because they had the vision and they know what they're doing. That bubble really steals that. The Lulu Q comes in, the combo comes in from Jarvan EQ, and basically this guarantees 3 flashes. I think LMQ was in the right spot though, but they should have just sent 2 people bottom to get that wave pushing out. But good reaction from Fnatic.
Yeah, very good indeed. Next up was Cloud9 versus KaBuM. This was a pretty good, I think we'll call it a no gank you.
Beautiful kick from Lee Sin. I just love how Meteos starts scooting behind Thresh because he knows he can line up this kick. It wasn't a luck kind of thing.
Yeah, one cool thing with Lee Sin as well is during the quarter-second cast time, it roots the opponent, so you have a guaranteed trajectory that you know he's going to go exactly this direction. You actually can't outplay it once it starts, and so he just knocks him down like bowling pins.
Today I learned, and as Jat said, because Lee Sin. All right, guys, thank you very much. The excitement in the Singapore group stage continues tomorrow with a whole lot of pressure on the LCS teams as they're going to have to prove themselves. Alliance and Cloud9 will be doing battle with Najee and White Shield. We will also see if Samsung Blue can live up to the hype as they take on Fnatic and LMQ, and then OMG and KaBuM will get a chance to bounce back from today's defeats. Those matches will begin tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central European Summertime, which is 2 a.m. Pacific. That does it for day 1 here in Singapore, but we do have 3 days of matches still yet to come as we head to the quarterfinals. In the meantime, I'd like to once again thank all of our special guest analysts on the desk, as well as myself and the entire World Broadcast team. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you all tomorrow.
He gets the hook down. Sun jumps away with a poison, finishes him up. LMQ win game 1. Okay, here comes dive. Oh, dive on the tower. Goong, is he going to have enough? The wave catches on towards Sand. The intervention isn't enough to save his life. The rocket jump away, but he will get burned out.
We are a team. Ideally. We win together and we lose together.
Yeah, the Super Minions would end the game as long as they keep Alliance occupied. He gets bubbled in. Will they be able to get a good fight out of this? Zanya's thrown down in from balls, and it looks like they're actually pushing Alliance away from their base.
Going on towards Reckless and early wild growth, but Zoe's out right in the middle of them. There's the shutdown coming in, and instantly 2 men die. 3, 4. Gonna go in for this one. He himself will get next knocked up, but Sneaky coming around the side as well. Down the Gordon will throw down his cats and click them, and a convincing win for Cloud9.